I'm going to wait a couple of seconds.
You're going to wait a couple seconds because there's a 10-second delay on Facebook.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. This is part 2 of our interview with Cassidae Lightwing, Waves. We're going to do a short recap on an earlier show and continue from where we left off. And thank you all for tuning in.
So, recap version, my father was a student of Aleister Crowley. He took his teachings very, very, very seriously, and utilizing those sort of got me here, brought me here, utilizing, my mother as a receptacle. Now, one thing I didn't get a chance to mention before when we were doing this at the beginning is the reason why he chose my mother. Now, Kristin knows a little bit more than I do with regards to the stars being right and the astrology and all that stuff. But my mother is Shawnee, Native American. Now that for those of you who are wondering, that is a member of the Cherokee Nation. So for me to say Shawnee, maybe I am being a little snotty. I should just say Cherokee, but kiss my butt, because the Cherokee's a different tribe. So the Cherokee are a nation and a tribe. So my mother is descendant of a very long and storied history of shaman, medicine men from the Shawnee. So that's why he picked her. He knew he had to add that in. And personally, I think that's why his ritual grabbed a starseed soul rather than a demon, which is what he was looking for.
Well, the numerology in your mom's birth, if I remember right, it's 061660.
Yeah.
You might guess what he was going for.
666.
61660. Yeah.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, it took me until just a couple of years ago to memorize that. I'm so bad with numbers. I can't do it. Oh, good job, Ray. Ray brought me some more smokes without interrupting the camera. All right, so he began my training in various magical schools when I was 5, along with the attempt at the cult mind control, which I did not work. Once Return of the Jedi came out, he lost me. I will go into his specific kind of cult following later if you guys want to. It's a weird one, but you guys can look it up. For those of you who just reading short version, who like to look up things on Google, look up the Final Fantasy VII house. That's the kind of cult he was. Yeah, he basically would take fictional characters and say, okay, well, you are actually the real Earth incarnation of blah, and catch people at the right point in their life, and they're like, yeah, I could feel that, and then you got them. And that's why on the show we do so much cult deprogramming. Can't do it.
Right.
Nope.
Yeah.
So when I was 17,
anti-cult.
Very much so. Yeah, if you've got a cult, you've got a problem. But so when I was 17, I completed my first major healing, and it was again in exchange for, something I'm not proud of. At that point, my legend, as Bradley would say, began to spread around California. Like, hey, this guy can do this. So word of mouth. Now that combined with my rather monstrous reputation from the Bay Area, it created a situation where people would come from all over California and the surrounding states to talk to me, for whatever. My favorite example of this is a lady had a bad dream where her brother was killed in a car accident, and she knew, like in her heart, she knew it was a premonition, so she tracked my ass down, and she's like, can you save my brother? So we did, Now, unfortunately, a lot of you guys are aware of the various controversies and rumors. Now, this is where all that comes in. Once I started to be able to make a name for myself, actually literally helping people, my religious family came in and had to put a stop to it. And for those of you who are familiar with various forms of suppression, targeting, things like that, you will not be unfamiliar. The Jehovah's Witnesses use the same kinds of tactics that the Scientologists use, harassment, things like that. So this turned into what is now stretched into a 19-year-long ordeal where the Jehovah's Witness family are trying to stop me from healing people. So they'll do all sorts of nasty things, like the one that got involved with Mr. Powers. He got he got suckered in by this one. One of the things she would do is Shelley would tell people that I'm just claiming to be a Native American, and she would say, "Oh, well, you know, his dad is this, this, and this in racial background," and just kind of leave it out that she didn't mention my mother's side at all. You see what I mean?
That was convenient.
Right.
David asks, at what age did you feel different than other people?
Birth. Like I said, I looked around and I said, "Oh shit, primates," and it was just like that. Sorry, I don't get along with primates. Okay, our people have a history. Okay, I didn't realize I was here on Earth with the primates, but our people have a history which we're not very proud of. The Lyrans helped, and this is where the rumors that we created humans come in. Lyrans didn't create humans at all. We were friends. We helped guide your people out of the trees by preying on you. And if you take your hands, put it on the back of your head, you will feel a little nudge in the back of your skull. Now, if you know your dinosaurs, you'll know the very first felinoids had a tooth that was built specifically to bite your ancestors on that nudge. And it's not something we're proud of, but we had to get you out of the trees. You know?
Chase those monkeys out of the trees, Cassidy.
No, I wasn't there. I wasn't there. This is not part of my group. This was the ancients. This is, you know, I showed up.
I know, but you're painting a beautiful picture.
Well, but that's where the idea comes from that people cling to, that Lyrans created humans. Because we helped, but we didn't create. We helped the guidance, you know. And people could say, well, that was terrifyingly cruel. How could you? Well, what would you do if you were a creature that lived outside of time and you understood that you could make things better? What would you do? You know, this world, without human evolution, believe it or not, this world is a hellscape, way worse than it is. A lot of humans are like, oh, look what we're doing to the environment. We're terrible. No, you're not. You've been led astray the last couple hundred years, and that needs to be addressed. But without human intervention, I mean, look at what humans do for animals. You know, my favorite example: baby elephant gets stuck in a well. Who saves the baby elephant? Okay, the fact is that every mother home, as you could put it, every life-giving planet, life as you guys know it, it needs a tender. Okay, I'm sure you guys have noticed life is a little chaotic. Hard to put on a graph, as it were. So every biome needs a tender people, you know, to help, you know. Otherwise, it just becomes a hellscape. You know, that as soon as animals and plants realize that they can get cheaper calories easier by adding a little cruelty, everything goes to shit. And this is just the way it is. You know, life everywhere, this form of life. You know, this
Need positive guidance or it falls into chaos.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, just look at insects, with some very few exceptions. And somebody will say spiders. Spiders aren't insects. I'm talking insects. Arachnids are a whole nother thing. Insects have no empathy, zero. They can't even understand the idea of empathy. Okay, so imagine that kind of hellscape, but everywhere. You know, so humans were needed. You know, with the fall of the Dracotherians, there was no tender. And obviously mammals were the next one up, so here we are. You know, see, Pinarena says humans and what?
Oh, I was just going to say the same thing. Corey says human interaction on Earth is needed and a blessing, not always, but needed.
Yes, very, very much so. Without human intervention, all life on this Earth is done very, very, very soon, and not for the reasons you guys think. I mean, it's good that you guys are worried about carbon and stuff. That's great, but the giant fireball from the sky, okay, known to your scientists,
Phoenix phenomenon.
No, the coronal mass ejection. It can be a Phoenix phenomenon if we play it right, but if we don't, welcome to the Stone Age. Yeah. So the coronal mass ejection is coming. It's what destroyed the biosphere on Mars. Human intervention, or rather sapient intervention, is the only thing that's going to save that.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so
moving on.
So yeah, what age did I feel different? That's like I said, from birth, I never had an awakening experience. You're supposed to reset your incarnation when you reincarnate on a new planet. I didn't, you see. So, and
Tell
to
us
say,
about how you purred to your mom.
oh, so I was trying to communicate, and for those of you who can remember back in childhood, you might remember to the point where in your mind you're speaking perfectly clear, but everybody else is like, "What?" Like
Right,
what you want to say. So what would come out are these very, very complex, and you guys have heard them, series of purrs and growls, and they've stayed with me my whole life. You know, um, that part's never changed. That was my first language, but nobody else understood it. So here was this freaky little kid growling at people, and it did not work out well.
But you purred too.
Well, yeah. Well, it only got worse. The larger I got, the more threatening it got. So
Yes.
what to me is just like, "Hi, how you doing?" sounds like, "Ah!" You know.
Let's back away slowly now.
Yeah. And as Kristin can tell you, even my scent is different. The physiological differences are very apparent once you get past the skin. And that's not uncommon for the visitors, the comers, be whatever star tribe they're from. We suspect it has something to do with the veil, but I suspect it has something to do with merging DNA.
Newcomers have a different smell. No. They
What
say
was that?
newcomers have a different smell.
Oh yeah,
What's that
Yeah.
from?
that's Shannon has it as a ringtone. All my friends are heathens, take it slow.
Oh,
Yep.
Wait
Yeah.
for them to ask you who you know. The thing is, the funny part is that song, like it's so true. Because all my friends are heathens. You really need to take it slow. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
By the time you realize who we are, you start to remember who you are, and you're one of us.
Quite all
Corey
your friends
says-
are heathens.
Corey,
Well, that's just
Corey,
true. You're Christian.
Corey asks you, so after 17 and the healing and being discovered, how did that lead you and make you feel?
Well, that kind of gave me an answer as to why I felt like a freak. Keep in mind, again, when Return of the Jedi came out, I realized my dad's cult stuff was absolutely full of shit. Okay. So I was done. Yeah, that's where he lost me. And I tried to just science only from that point on. So to find out that, I mean, the responsibility, to this day, it feels like it's crushing me.
Having the weight of the world on your shoulders.
Well, yeah. I mean, imagine how it feels. Like you're passing somebody on the bus. You can smell the cancer. You can see they're suffering, but you can't do anything until they ask.
Right.
And the reason, there's karmic reasons, but the short version is, if you act without the person requesting, you're imposing your will on them. Not okay.
Right.
Didn't
So
You
you
have to be invited.
yeah, I have
When
to be
you were
invited
young?
in.
When you were younger, didn't you also speak with someone and tell them about your people?
Oh yeah, all the time. Well, not all the time. I would pick a friend who I could trust. At the very least, I could trust them to think it was a game, so they wouldn't kill me with sticks. Because I hadn't learned that you can't kill me with sticks yet. I learned that later. But at the time, it's like, I saw what y'all did to Jesus.
So a bunch of primates coming at you with sticks. Bully, bully, bully.
Yeah.
You run.
Yeah, primates and felines have issues interacting, But so I would pick a friend and I would tell them all about it, and that would be like my anchor point. Like if I ever went crazy, hey Zeb, and Zebulon, he's been on the show. Love Zeb. Hey Zeb, did I really say this thing back then? Yeah, you said it. Oh shit, So I would
Right.
set up. I would set up like fail safes in case I ever lost my damn mind. So.
But I meant, did you speak to somebody like, was it Linda? Auntie Linda that you spoke to? Someone that asked you to call her Auntie Linda?
Oh, that. That's a whole nother thing. I don't like to bring that up because it feels like I feel creepy. One of the things that happened when I was 6, before Return of the Jedi came out, my father, he would take me around with him when he was trying to get gigs and such, and I'd have to do the stupid psychic peck tricks. I'm sure a lot of you guys know what I'm talking about. How many fingers am I holding up? What number am I thinking of? It's a really good
David
way.
Nash has a question for you when you're done.
Oh, sure. So through this, I found out about my dad rather found out about the cattle mutilations, and they brought me up to northern Colorado to where some of that was happening, and I freaked out. One of the skills I do I can claim to possess is called psychometry, and that what it is when you're in the presence, within the touching distance of an object or a person, you can sort of feel what it went through. So I could feel the last moments of these cattle and what they went through, and it was terrifying. I freaked the hell out. And what she's talking about is there was a lady there, and she got down on her knee, and she was there checking out the cattle mutilations as well. And she says, it's going to be okay. I'm Auntie Linda. Just look at me. And that's what calmed me down. And then years and years later, I learned about Linda Moulton Howe, and I'm like, is that her?
It could be.
Yeah. So like I said, I would tell people that I thought I could trust, but I never told people where it was from. I remember my training. We're not supposed to reveal that,
Right.
Orders didn't change on that till like 2016. So I would tell people about hyperspace and about coming from somewhere else. I talked to them about my congruent lives. Lyrans don't experience like a single life in order as far as reincarnation. It's sort of like all of it at once. It's a huge pain in the ass.
Simultaneously.
Right.
So ancient Egypt is still happening.
Well, not anymore. She's dead. But until she passed away, yes, it was. So, yes,
were you just answering that?
I was about to, yeah. Unfortunately, yes, we are predatory. This is an unfortunate fact. We evolved from predatory creatures, and we still have a natural requirement for meat. I personally cannot digest. Now, a lot of Lyran starseeds don't experience this. Again, starseeds. You guys did it right. I screwed it up. But I can't process plant matter of any kind. It causes major nutritional issues. Now, that being said, we stopped hunting things for meat many thousands of years ago. As the Pleiadians will be able to tell you, there are many options for meat eaters. Once the process of enlightenment for a species has begun, like that's where the vegans are right. We should stop eating animals, but animals are people. So we should stop eating sapient life. Ha ha. The problem is that to get to the point of technological grace where you can abandon those baser things, you have to get through it. Even we had to prey on other life until we could, replicate the things we needed. I
was just going to say, we're almost to the replicators.
Right. So over time, now you guys are starting to understand and learn more about a process they're calling breatharianism, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So in breatharianism,
breatharians they didn't have the organs that we have. They didn't need to eat.
Right. Humans
absorb energy.
Right. Humans. Yeah. This body you at home right now can rediscover it. It's a whole process of understanding the way energy moves through. Ooh, I got chills. Moves through your feet up through your body. Okay. So with our species, we converted to a primarily breatharian, life. We got most of our sustenance from light. When I make you guys laugh, I get fed.
Right.
Now, the flaw, the thing is, you can't subsist on light like that if you're scaring things and eating them. You know what I mean?
Different kind of energy.
It doesn't work.
Right. So we had to evolve, But yeah.
Yeah, two different forms of energy.
Mm-hmm. So even in this body, I can manage breatharianism for short periods of time, which is what saved my life when my guts blew up. But I can't do it permanently. I still need tissue, And honestly, even if I could process plant matter, I'm not sure I would. What a lot of the vegans don't understand is that plants are just as sapient as the animals. It's sad, but it's true. You know, your botanist will tell you they scream while you're chewing. It's just that they communicate through basically chemicals and pheromones, so you don't hear it. Well, some of you do.
What?
Like,
Yeah, you know, when you cut a
I
piece of asparagus, when you go to cut it again, it'll actually bend away from the blade.
Yeah, they'll try to defend themselves, the plants. You know, so
Yeah.
so no, being a plant a vegan is where you only eat plants is not morally centered. It's not morally right. You know, there are very few morally correct paths, and you have to already have some level of evolution to be able to do it. Like frugivores, the people like to say that, like, well, gorillas are frugivores, and look how big they are. No, gorillas aren't frugivores. I'm sorry, they're not. You know, they eat a lot of proteins. People, well, but that's insects, and insects aren't lives.
Right. Every living thing has a spiritual, some type of essence to them.
Right. So the only way to feed and get that sustenance in a morally neutral way is to get it from within. And that's where the breatharianism comes in. But again, I don't try that crap at home. People have died attempting breatharianism.
Yeah.
So So yeah, even I wouldn't try complete breatharianism, and I'm pretty sure I can't die. That's a joke.
Don't test it.
No. So, but yeah, so it just, I respect the effort, but unfortunately, in order to get to the phase that people want to get, and I've been trying to remember the damn scientific name for it this entire portion of the conversation, and I can't. It's the name for a life form which does not have to subsist on another life. And usually you have to be plankton for that. I mean, even plants can't do it. So I wanted to say autophage, but that's not correct. Autotrophs. The whole universe was in a hot, dense state. Then 14 years ago, the planet started. Wait. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, autotrophs. Haha. The quest to re-achieve autotrophism is good. We all came from autotrophs. We all evolved from that basic singular point of life. The getting back to that is part of the effort of enlightenment. You know, part of the trying to reach it.
Singularity.
Exactly. 2 become 1, become 2, and then 3, 6, 9, and pretty soon David Bowie's doing alien stuff on TV, and it's a whole thing.
And then there's villagers and pitchforks and flaming torches.
It sucked. I'm hungry and I'm dead, and that's not a good combination. Yeah, Daisy 1020s. Never give up my milk and honey.
When you're hungry, love will keep you alive.
It can, actually. It really, really can. Once you get your pineal gland, like 1,000 pineals all in your head. Once you get your pineal gland working properly, you can, you know. The thing is, people would say, well, genetically, that's not possible. Aha. But here's the question. What do y'all think enlightenment is? That you just know extra stuff? No. Enlightenment changes your DNA. You right at home right now, you have completely mutable, 2 different things, DNA. Okay. If it is your soul's choice, your deep down body choice, your higher self's choice, whatever you want to call it, if it is your soul's choice that you're done consuming life to live, your DNA will upgrade appropriately. You know, my favorite example is always going to be the monkey man. And look up.
I was just going to ask you that question. You do believe that DNA is activatable?
Yes, sir. It's provable. They've known this since the 70s. They just don't want people to know it because they don't want to cause a panic. You know. But yeah, DNA.
Exactly, David. Dropping off fear and ego.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's for that one singular decision, whatever that is. You know, I would say the most common example of this is that moment when a person chooses to become a parent. You know, their DNA starts going click, click, click. You know, the archetypical mother that lifts a car off of her, you know, pinned child. The kind of mother that's like, do I have to? She's not going to be able to do that, you know. But that person that says, you know what, I want to be the best mom I can be, they're going to start developing the ability to tap into that deep down body strength. I must be thirsty. I'm quoting Gatorade commercials like left and right.
Why did you get something to drink?
I got my aloe water right here.
Good stuff.
Oh yeah.
Hey, that's
plant-based.
Yeah, but I'm not digesting the aloe. It's just coating the lacerations on the inside of my gut.
Right.
Yeah, no, and when my gut blew up, everything changed. So, but yeah, don't give up your milk and honey.
You've been healing from that for a very long time now.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's true. And for the people saying, but Cassidy, you say you heal fast. Yep, you wouldn't have survived what happened. You know, my small intestine split open, spilling fecal matter into my entire abdomen. At the emergency room, they just gave me morphine to send me home. And that's what you do when somebody's about to die. They just go home, go to sleep.
But you said not today.
No, I suffered incredibly trying to get it all figured out until I just happened to be throwing up, and it was throwing up blood in the emergency room right when a Sikh doctor named Dr. Sidhu was happened to be doing his shift, and he examined me. He's like, I know what you are. I'm like, what do you mean? So they got me admitted, and he got me these special like vitamins and whatnot. And he talked with me a little bit. Apparently, the Sikh, and for those of you who don't know, the Sikh have like their own school of medicine. So you get those Sikh doctors, will often have become doctors in their way and then come here to become doctors. Apparently, they have medicinal things for psychics and enlightened people.
Huh?
So what the hell? But yeah, he gave me a bunch of herbs and whatnot and showed me how to use them, and that's what saved my life. So
well, and you recently recovered from a bout of sepsis, and they removed stuff that was icky.
People aren't supposed to survive with that much gangrene in their abdomen.
No, they're not. So
Sorry to be gross, folks.
But that also proves that you do have healing skills that are above and beyond human.
Oh yeah, that part's been measured. That's been known since Ray was like what, 3? Ray was what, 2 or 3, Shannon, when they measured the healing in my sinuses? Ray was like what, 2 or 3 when they measured the healing in my sinuses? Yeah, about that. Yeah, no, my healing was clocked at 25 times normal when Ray was a toddler. They've known that I'm not human since I was 19. Yeah, they found that out. I was going in there and I was trying to find out why I have all these feminine qualities. You know, I thought I was a freak, and they found out that that's how I found out about the pituitary gland being chromosomally female. That's where all that comes from. But at that same time, they basically, you know, for those of you who remember back in the 90s, they were mapping the human genome. So they're like, oh, this has some interesting quirks. Do you mind if we take a look? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Do I got to pay for it? No? Yay! Knock yourselves out. And they come back, and I'm like, you're not human. I'm like, what? So basically, the entire final chromosome is completely non-human. At the time, it was unknown anywhere. Now, since then, in the 20 or so years since then, they've found that this gene goes back in your species at least as far as Akhenaten in ancient Egypt. So what they're trying to do now is kind of find out how many people have this gene, you know? And that's why we got all the help for Shar. They was like, hey, we if we're going to help you with this, we want to study that. I'm like, yes, sir. You can have my arm if you want.
Good day.
So
yeah,
you've had to hear about a lot of disbelievers here on Earth. How do you deal with it? And also, how does it feel to have many who do believe in you and need you?
Well, it's nice to be needed. The people that don't believe, I chalk it up to this. I mean, if you just like walked up to me on the street, I'm like, by the way, I'm a space lion. I would be, even me would be like, I want to go over here now. So, you know, I don't mind if people don't believe. You know, the fact is all I need All I need to complete my mission is for people to believe in themselves. And if all you need is to see, like, look at that crazy guy over there, and he can succeed and do all these stuff, believe in that crazy stuff. Wait a minute. If Crazy Cass could do it, what could I do?
Right.
That's Cassidae having a good day. There's another factor, and yes, I'm coughing because of the smoking, which I hate to admit it. This is going to sound so petty. I love it when I'm able to tell people I'm an alien and they don't believe me. That's like my personal, because then I can say whatever I want. I can talk about the soul and the nature, and they're just like, okay, buddy, whatever. So when they don't believe me, I'm free to just say whatever I need to, which is usually quite a lot.
They're not going to believe you anyway.
Right?
Yeah.
But
we believe you.
Well, I appreciate that deeply, because that's the second part. But the people that don't believe me, I'll tell you one more thing about that. That makes me feel good as an artist, because if they don't believe that this is true, then they have to believe I at least made it up.
Right. Good story.
Spark some kind of cog to turn anyway.
Right. Exactly. At the end of the day, as long as you realize you're more capable more than you think, I'm a happy guy.
Yeah.
Now, as far as those of you who do believe me, I would die for you. No joke. Being ostracized and depersoned since the age of 5 was not fun. And so if you can look at me and say, Cassidae, I believe you. I truly believe you. I'm your buddy. I'm your best friend. Like my best friend, like my friends in California, like my brother Dan, he didn't even believe me, for the longest time. He's like, Cass, those guys over there, they believe that a dude that was nailed to a tree 2,000 years ago for saying, hey, let's be nice to each other was God. I'm like, when you put it that way, it does sound weird, doesn't it? So Dan's whole point was, look, I don't care what you believe. You're my buddy. You ride for me, I'd ride for you. You tell a really good D&D story, fuck it. D&D, yeah. Right. Oh, dude, D&D is the best. See, it
takes a good imagination to play that game.
Some people have a really, really hard time with it, but they can still enjoy the camaraderie and, the winning, when you come together as a group and get something done. I mean, who wouldn't like to be a hero for a few hours a week,
Right.
Lake Geneva, Wisconsin is where I'm from. And we actually have a Dungeons and Dragons museum there because that's where it all started.
That's where Gary Gygax started it all.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
In my case, I learned about therapeutic role play from therapy first. And then I was in a comic store one day and I was like, what the hell is this? It's a little figure. And that was Cassidy's intro to role playing. But so I got to approach it from the therapeutic and artistic standpoint first. Now, for those of you who know game mastering or who know Dungeons and Dragons, yes, I'm that kind of game master, the artsy fartsy. It's not a game, it's an experience. That's me.
My brother-in-law always has his character's name is Dritz from the Forgotten Realm series.
Oh yeah, dude, Drizzt is one of my favorite, and it's Drizzit, not Dritz. R.A. Salvatore answered that in one of his books. It's Drizzit, but yeah, Drizzador, and one of the best D&D characters of all time. For those of you who you may not be familiar with D&D, but if you've ever seen a dark-skinned elf with white hair with 2 scimitars with a little panther, that's Drizzit.
Ah.
Major. Those books are some of the major cornerstones of the hobby.
Yeah, fun game. I've played it a few times.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We're hoping to get our D&D games broadcasted. Just taking care of one thing at a time. First the toy company, then D&D. Now, Karina said she wanted to go spend some time in a real haunted house. Are you sure?
You're a braver man than I am, Gungadin. And by the way, that toy company is up and running.
Yep, that was the first print we made, and so that went to Kristin because she's in charge of the Hope Happens toys.
Isn't that beautiful?
That's cool. Very good picture of that.
Why, thank you. Big fan of the nuns with guns. Now, I always wanted to find one of those houses. Like, if you can stay the night here, it's yours, dude.
Ooh, like in the Flintstones.
Right? We'll go in there. Get out! You get the fuck out! Oh shit! It's him!
Fire truck.
Funny story. I've actually been warned to stay away from Tucson because they like their ghosts, and like I've been specifically, no, you're not welcome here. It's like, dude, come on. So, anyway,
What's that other place? Go ahead.
Just after the healing incident, I started to learn to take this stuff more and more seriously. One of the things I started getting a bit of a reputation for is basically cleansing hospitals. If you guys have ever worked in a hospital for any length of time, they get haunted pretty quick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, lots of death.
Yeah. So this journey has been not one of awakening, but one of learning to be part of you. You see what I mean? People ask me about the awakening portion, kind of ratcheting it back to that. People ask me about the awakening portion. I can't answer that because the basic education back home factors in, like, you guide the cubs through it, So I don't have an answer for that. But what I can say is everyone experiences everyone. You call it the dark night of the soul. A lot of people do, but everyone experiences evolutions. Now, I have experienced a lot of those. I mean, every day is something new if you let it. If you can keep your mind open despite the pain, every single day can be a new experience.
Look for the gifts.
Yeah.
Do you feel your energy feeling depleted or recharging with different circumstances? What helps you recharge the best?
What helps me recharge the best, I think this is going to be embarrassing, but you asked, sexual activity. The interchange of life, which on this world I've learned very recently translates to sexual intimacy, confused the crap out of me. I didn't know why people would get upset when I try to snuggle with another guy. Give me a second.
Not my forte.
Well, but to us, that's not like a gay thing,
I know. I see my cats sniffing each other all the time, and they're both boys.
Right? It's like, hey, you need your back licked.
Laying with each other, licking each other, getting all intimate with each other, and it's just animal stuff. Yeah.
Right. It's intimacy, but you wouldn't call it sexual intimacy,
Right.
Here, I can't lick anybody without them getting weird about it. It's so frustrating. Funny story. My wife is getting really, really close with her World of Warcraft, and he was getting all flirty with her. And so they arranged to meet at Denny's, and we meet, and we hit it off really great. And we go in for that bro hug at the end, and I licked his neck nice and slow right up there. And I said, I know where you sleep. He stopped flirting with Shannon after that. Weird.
Not weird.
He's lucky.
Who is it? It's me, Shannon.
Yeah, Shannon has learned since then that guys can be predatory while pretending to be your friend. And she didn't realize at the time,
Yeah.
See?
Yeah. Chloe, what are you doing?
So, yeah, it's been a roller coaster. And what led me to doing shows is people would hire me for a healing or a whatever, and they're like, how can you do this stuff? Because they would expect me to charge them, and then nothing happened. But then something would happen and I wouldn't charge them, and they were like, what's going on with you?
Right.
And so I opened up to a couple of people. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say their names, so I won't, but I remember both of you. And I opened up to them, and they're like, do a show. I'm like, I'm ugly. No. Like, wait, You're ugly. I'm like a scary monster. I got the big hair, like you can smell me through the screen. Like, just try it, Cass. I think you might be surprised. So
it's a strong smell.
Oh, Kristin can tell you.
Kristin can tell you what.
The fact that I don't smell, I smell.
Okay. To give you guys an idea of what he's talking about, if you can imagine petrichor, the smell of dust settling after rain, it's a beautiful smell, but it is an earthy and musky, and I mean, for me, it was like very familiar smell, and I was trying to think of what it translated to, and the best descriptor I can come up with is petrichor.
And folks, we're not talking about like I don't use deodorant. That's not it at all. It's literally the smell of my flesh.
Right.
Animals can tell, and when you people, it's the physiological differences. Well, I don't think anybody can smell themselves. I think you go nose blind, like to your own farts. That's 2 fart jokes this interview. Aha! Let's see if we can go for break.
We usually can't smell ourselves like another person can, because we're used to our own smell.
Right. And you women who have ever been pregnant, you know exactly. Like guys can't understand that sharpening of the smell.
You know your own baby.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and David has a question. Can you bring it up? I don't want to lean over and be like, Sonny.
Oh, there's this one. So you don't have a true X or Y chromosome?
No, I actually have normal chromosomes for the most part, with the exception of my pituitary gland. My pituitary gland has the 2 X's, I think. I can never remember which one is male, which one's female. But yeah, I learned the hard way that it was what at the time was called a chromosomal chimera. I think chimeric.
Right.
It's chimera. Yeah. Nowadays we just call it that syndrome, Klinefelter syndrome.
There we go.
Klinefelter syndrome. Okay.
Yeah. Nowadays they just call it Klinefelter, because there's a number of ways that this can happen to people.
Right.
My doctor's theory was that I had a twin sister and we absorbed each other. Not like I absorbed her or she absorbed, but we like merged like Voltron.
I have heard of that
somewhere in your body, you have your twin actually within you.
That very well could be.
There's a story about that with a woman in Seattle who was pregnant, and she went and had a blood test done, and it showed that it wasn't even her child; it was her twin's child. But her twin had been absorbed by her own body in the womb.
I remember that.
But
I heard of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a chimera. Example of a chimera.
Mm-hmm. And it's more common than you think.
If I get a vote, that's not what's wrong with my gut, okay? That was
possibly.
But yeah, there's lots of ways it can happen. Like a fetus can split wrong. Like you can actually, it's incredibly rare. It's actually more rare rather than parthenogenesis, but you can actually get it where the fetus splits unevenly, so you have an identical male and female child. If it splits at the exact right phase of life, like right at the very, 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 very beginning, it's very, very rare, but it can happen.
Wow.
So, it's not quite like in fraternal twins.
No.
We had a set of fraternal twins in our school when I was growing up, and one was shorter, one was taller, and that's how we could always tell. They looked very different from each other, but they had the same birthday.
Some of my best friends ever, Jared and Jameis Tabor, they're fraternal twins, but my eyes are bad enough that I couldn't tell the difference. For the first 6 months we knew each other, I thought they were the same guy. We had different classes, so I would be coming this way with Jared and then see Jameis coming that way, and they were always made sure to keep away. Like they messed with me. Love you guys.
Wow. David says my first son absorbed his twin sister and ended up doing a partial DNC to save the mother, my wife.
I'm very sorry.
That is pretty sad.
Yeah. oh, shit happens. Wait, that's not the way I meant it. What I meant is things can happen.
Nature works in odd ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, the reason why
she was always negative and was probably part of the problem.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's a bad rap.
The Rogam.
Yeah, there are. That's the name of the what you're on.
The Rogam shot. Yeah.
Right. Thank you. That's the medicine you need to do that.
That's why it's so suspicious that I'm here, because I am an O positive child with an RH negative mother.
Sorry, I'm sitting on the floor and my legs are falling asleep, so I'm like shifting a lot.
Well, it's okay. I'm practically doing the Stevie Wonder thing over here. Yeah, my back hurts a lot. That's why I do this. I'm not trying to be a cartoon character, but since I'm already doing the cartoon character thing, it works. Yeah, I didn't mean to be disrespectful, Mr. Nash. Yeah, so now the prevailing belief is that all of these differences in my body stem from the same chromosome issue. Otherwise it's like how many weird medical conditions can one person have? You know what I mean? But if you trace it all back to that singular, mutant chromosome, it all makes sense. So, but yeah, I think that's about all I got to. That's all I have to say about that, Jenny.
And I have one thing to add, David, and that is some souls are too pure for this world, and they don't quite make it here, but it doesn't mean that they're ever forgotten.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Daisy 10 Ponies feels David's pain too. Yeah, I'm looking around for distraction. Say something. Somebody say something.
Something.
Yeah.
We received a beautiful gift from, I can't say her name, but today it's basically a giant blanket with Shara's picture on it. And it's absolutely beautiful. And I'm so grateful. But at the same time, that was disturbing. Yeah.
It looked so much like her. It was so lifelike.
Yeah. And I'm not at that point yet. Hey there,
Hi,
buddy.
Kitty.
Somebody's saying hi. He was just nudging me a little bit. It's Lincoln.
She's looking at me like, why do you know that word?
We love our animals.
Look at chicken.
Look at chicken.
That used to drive my gaming buddies crazy. Stop doing the chicken thing, Cass.
And to Star Wars on top of it.
Right.
That's got to be a blasphemy in some language.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what was tried, I almost broke my throat once trying to do the chicken thing for the let's see if I can do it. Yeah. That second high note in the Doctor Who theme is so I can't do it more.
He's getting closer to the phone every time Kristin talks.
Well, Kristin has a reason.
Hair on my face.
Can I tell the story of the kitten, Cassidae?
Which one?
Okay, so I'm at Cassidae's house after the memorial, and I have one little kitten right here. I'm holding it. It's no bigger than my hand, and I'm holding it right here, and it's purring at me and looking at me like, I like you. And then this other kitten stalks me, and he
Little
comes up, and he's this little black fur ball. And according to Cass, he's the shy one, but he was stalking my dress like it was something he had never seen before, because he probably hadn't. And so he was like climbing inside of my dress and trying to climb up it and climbing up my leg. It was the funniest thing. Cats like me.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kittens are a blessing. So
I have to move for a minute.
Okay.
I gotta let some of our fur friends outside for a minute. Outside, y'all. Come on.
Is there anything we didn't cover, Cass?
There's so much. It's just I generally need a starting point, so otherwise it's just way too much. And that's not the alien stuff. That's having Asperger's, like, really bad. It's like, you leave me to my own devices. I'll start at the Big Bang. At the beginning, huh? Well,
In the beginning.
I think that one of the things that should be understood, and this is just my opinion, so if you guys don't agree, please let me know. I think that one of the pertaining to the subject matter, one of the things that I would like to express the most is these things that you guys use. The screen, all of this technology, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think the next place, like, it feels like the right direction, is to point out that there are many different technological bases. You guys have what you would call a Newtonian technological base. It's primarily based on molecular physics. There are other technological bases out there, like, for example, folks out there who understand crystals to the point that a entire technological base on the energy resonance of crystals is there. It works nothing like this stuff. It wouldn't work if you guys picked it up. I may or may not be talking about the Pleiadians.
Well, there's old technology with crystals too, where you could actually put information into a crystal, and then somebody else, like a student of yours or something, could take the crystal from you and learn everything that you embedded into the crystal, and that's crystal technology.
The crystal
In a nutshell.
The
What?
crystal skulls. Can you imagine what somebody like Cass could do with the crystal skulls?
I think that's why they won't let me get near them. But yeah, no, you're exactly right. So now take this to the next level. I'm sure you guys have all heard of biotechnology. If you've ever seen an Aliens movie, you've seen biotechnology. That's another technology.
Area 51 experiments with that.
Right, exactly.
I
So
wouldn't say that.
what I want to, well, see, we can't say that because other guy already got in trouble for it. So now we're allowed to say it because he said it first.
Oh, okay, cool.
But I
You heard it from him first.
Yeah. You guys know who I'm talking about. Area 51 guy, Element 113 guy. He's really shy. He's been on Joe Rogan. Bob Lazar.
Oh, okay.
I win.
I know who Bob Lazar is.
Yeah. So Bob Lazar sort of kind of introduced this to you guys. It's like, look, this is a completely different technology base. It's based on psychics or crystals or something. And that's actually, that's very true. But where it applies here, and what I want you guys to understand, is this stuff that we do. The dream walkers, the healers, all of us, right? The light workers in general. This is just a technology. You can call it magic if it makes you feel better, but this is something every single one of you are capable of. Your entire species. This used to be the technology of the day. Take a car to Atlantis. They're going to be like, what? But at the same time, you'll be looking at their hovering devices going, huh? So understand that all these gaps, all these divides can be bridged with just a little bit of understanding.
Right. If you take these two things right here, right, and you add yarn to them, you can make something.
Dark magic.
Into a
knitting, crochet, right?
Well, this would be knitting.
Okay, knitting.
There's two
Crochet
needles
is
there.
with one stick, right?
One little hook.
Yeah.
But it's the same kind of thing. It's just knowing what to do with it. If I
Right.
were to hand this to, let's say,
Me.
a 3-year-old, they'd be like, "Grandma, let's throw the ball," But you hand it to an older person, and they're like, "Oh, this could be a hat." So it's just knowing what to do with it.
Yeah.
So that, all of that, it's just like language. It can be bridged. Okay? You can understand the visitors. They can understand you. Okay, every problem that we have on this planet, that we can imagine on this planet, is imminently solvable by coming together. And I know I sound like a hippie on that, but keep in mind, I eat hippies to get high. Not true. It's a joke. But, I sound like a hippie, but they had some of that right. The idea of coming together, oneness, that is very, very true. The problem is getting to that point from where you guys are now, and some more enlightenment, evolution, whatever you want to call it, is needed. That being said, I'm pretty sure that Kristin can agree with me. We don't consider ourselves enlightened. Considering oneself enlightened is a really quick way to fall down an egoistic rabbit hole. It's a form of hubris,
Always learning.
Yeah.
Not enlightened, always learning.
Yeah.
Expanding.
Yes.
Exactly. Now,
Ascending link says
challenging.
appropriate applied humor can mend many a fence.
Yes.
Yes, it really can.
Plant the seed, water it with a joke. Check out what happens. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Indeed.
You were saying, Kristin?
I forgot.
I'm sorry.
No.
That's okay. That's okay. It's actually getting a little late for me, so I might be a little sleepy because I get up at 4:30 in the morning, and right now it's almost 9 o'clock here. So I've been up for a bit.
Well, we've been trying to get this done for a long time. Chris has been trying to put this together for a while now, right?
Yes.
A couple of years, I think.
Uh-huh.
I lose track of time. So
I just really actually put in a lot of work the past couple months, but I'm using content and stuff that I've had sitting around that I've been holding on to for years, and I've finally put it all down in one finalized production or publication, I should say. And yeah, it's a accumulation of about 5 years of stuff. So
is it in a book form, or is it?
It's a book, but it's not like a story like you would read. Like day one, so and so woke up out of bed and they went to the forest and found mushrooms on the ground or whatever. It's not a book like that. It's more of like a collaboration of knowledgeable stuff, like just like higher learning for the open-minded. If you want to learn about this, I have a brief description of what this is about in my own words.
Gotcha.
Everything from ascension to Zen, so it's like it may get bigger before I publish it, but
like a cookbook of modern humanity.
Right.
I like it.
It's got stuff from the Toltec in there. It's got stuff from Atlantis in there. It's got stuff, more ancient than the Emerald Tablets.
Ooh.
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
I need to learn more about the Emerald Tablets.
I am fascinated by them.
Yeah.
In one of my paintings I painted for Cass's studio, I actually copied part of the Emerald Tablet.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It was like I was writing in a language that I knew. It was oddly familiar.
Maybe it was a light language.
Oh, I'm sure of it. But I do encourage you to write that book because it's strange, but even books like this,
right?
Tales of the Reluctant Messiah, even 40, 50 years later, they're still enlightening people.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what I'm hoping to do with this book I'm coming out with. It's now that I'm in a great mind state and I'm like expanding like beyond what I could imagine, focusing more I'm
That's definitely good to see you focused.
and happy. Healthy.
Happy is also good, but focus must come first, I think, in my opinion. I could be wrong. But David says the ABCs of esoteric knowledge. I would read that. Me too.
There we go.
We'll get Kristin to do the audiobook.
Breathe deep, the gathering.
So yeah, you guys are on. What?
We're coming on the hour.
Okay. So done.
Do you have any advice to offer people? Anything like you would like the viewers to keep in mind and keep a mindful note?
Yes, actually. Don't judge yourselves. And I don't mean that in some generic hippie way. I mean, people, I've been seeing humans like, oh, we're trash, we're a virus, all that stuff. Don't judge yourselves. What's happening right now around you is not you guys at your natural state. And if you guys know about the Schumann resonance, you can look at what it's doing and go, something's wrong here.
I have an opinion about that, actually.
What is it?
But finish with yours, and then I'll tell you my opinion on that.
So, if you guys have been studying the Schumann resonance, that you guys know the electromagnetic spectrum of your planet is experiencing a very, very wild event, one that scientists never, like even we didn't expect this. Very, very brief. You guys can look it up. When a pole shift happens, it's supposed to go like this. That's not what's happening. Your guys' poles are doing this and sort of meeting in Tibet. And we've never seen that before. That's not supposed to happen.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah, so whatever's happening here, it is indeed new, just like the psychics have been saying since Dolores Cannon, that something is about to happen on this planet that's very, very new. And that's why there's so many races gathered here. That may be true.
New to us.
Yeah, well, new to all of us. I mean,
yeah.
That's like,
that's
not supposed to happen, folks.
No,
imagine having yeah, they're not. It's yeah. So what you're looking at right now is the hysteria of people that are afraid. Now you could argue, the argument could be made that you guys are under an electromagnetic attack that's forcing you to act in a more hysterical way. But really, that's no excuse. To be true to thyself is to be free of such attacks. So please, as you guys are looking around, just remember all the chaos. This is not normal. This is not how you normally are.
Yeah.
People say, well, but in the past, things were way more brutal. Yeah, but you have evolved since then. Okay? Yeah. And when all this is through, the people that you will be, through a combination of remembering who you were and forgiving yourselves, the people who you are going to be or about to become are very, very worth all this chaos. Okay? Mm-hmm. It's kind of like Martin Luther King Jr. Even he raised hell as a teenager, but we had to get through that teenage years to get to the man, Mm-hmm. Y'all are just dealing with your teenage stuff, plus this attack.
So my whole idea on the Schumann resonance, I have a feeling that I know it's supposed to be the electrical output of the planet naturally, but with all the interference from the artificial net, I think it might be the measurement of how powerful that is.
It definitely has an influence.
Yeah. Because how can you get an accurate reading of a natural frequency when we have all these wireless frequencies and all that shit floating around to interfere with an accurate reading from,
Right. And you guys are pumping all this electromagnetic energy into the atmosphere, colliding with the existing sphere. Obviously, there's going to be some stuff. I had not considered that before, but that checks out, bro.
Yeah.
Well, think about all the energy that we live with too. We're surrounded by
EMF waves
Wi-Fi,
and everything.
By Wi-Fi, by by phone, by everything. It's all there. And you're right, it is all EMF.
Mhm.
I think what if I were to offer some advice to people, that is look at each other with soft eyes and try to remember that it's okay to be kind. It's not a weakness, it's a strength
Right.
to be kind to each other. And know that this uncertainty that we're facing right now is temporary.
We can rise above it.
And the truth is always inside of us.
Even if you have to get at it with a fork.
Yeah.
Like, dig a little bit.
They stab it with those steely knives.
But they just
Gotta
can't
kill
go
them.
east.
Music.
Dude, music is a universal language. That's
Yeah.
that's the coolest things, you know.
I
And
pick up on music real easy too.
you should
Maybe
sing more.
Huh?
You should sing more.
I should.
Let the bodies hit the floor.
Not like Richard
Whoa.
Pease.
Oh yeah.
I
Oh, people equal shit. Oh, people equal shit. Papa people.
know this song. That's not on my karaoke
Ooh,
playlist.
Yeah, get up, come on,
Ooh,
get down with the sickness. Yeah.
Village people.
Village people? Oh my.
Somehow, guys, I don't think Kristin would like Slipknot. What do you think?
Very greatly doubt it.
Depends on what song.
People equal shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one. That one is right at the beginning of my angry music playlist, so I could remind myself not to take things seriously.
Ah, the fourth agreement.
Yeah,
No, the third agreement. The third agreement.
whichever one
Don't
confused
take
me with your
things
numerical
personally.
magic. Yeah, and Bill Hicks, for those of you who are fans of comedy, said it best. This is all just a game, you know. And yes, I say that having just lost my daughter. It is all just a game. Out there, everything's fine. It's just here, everything's screwed, you know. But it'll be okay. David says we need more Bob Marley. I agree.
Bob Marley and Jimi Hendrix.
No woman, no crime. Somehow I don't think that's the right word. What? Did y'all see that? I think I'm gonna die later because she gave me the gypsy stink eye.
Tom Petty
Yeah.
and Stevie Ray.
I can't remember any Stevie Ray.
Caught in the crossfire. 'Cause I'm stranded, caught in the crossfire. You don't know that one?
No.
He had that weird picking. Dun, 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 dun.
I'll have to look it up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Stevie Ray Vaughan, man.
I've heard the name before, but you win this round. You win. Excuse me. You win this round, bro.
My picture.
I seem to remember. I'll look it up. I'll look it up. David says it's no woman, no cry. Oh, sure. When you use the real lyrics.
Yeah, Pride and Joy is a good one by Stevie Ray. That's right.
Can you give us a few bars? Sing for us.
Hold on. I just heard the song the other day. I love my baby with heart and soul. You mess with her, you see a man getting mean because she's my pretty little thing. She's my pride and joy. She's my sweetie little baby.
Yeah.
I'm but a little lover boy.
Yes. Okay, so I have heard some Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
Great karaoke voice. I'd love to hear
Yeah,
that mic up.
We should send him a karaoke. We can do that. We can send him a karaoke mic.
Ah.
All right. So type banana if you want to hear him sing at karaoke. Kim sing.
Banana.
Nana.
Banana, nana, banana.
What is your favorite song to sing at karaoke?
Oh, I have a handful. But if I had to choose, I like Cumbersome by Seven Mary 3.
That's I have become cumbersome, right? Yeah. I get that one confused with another one that uses same melodic device right there. Like I have become cumbersome, and I think lightning flashes is the one I'm thinking of. Lightning flash. You know what I'm talking about. Nope.
Maybe with a couple more bars.
Lightning flashes, a new mother cries.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, that's huh?
Live. Thank you.
Live. Yeah.
Yes. So, is that Karina by chance?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Oh, I've been suspecting that the whole time. I didn't want to say nothing because then it's like, if it's not Karina and I say something, she's going to beat him to death with a frying pan.
No, I won't catch me doing nothing like that. Nope.
Oh my.
You know you've smoked too many cigarettes when you can't do a proper evil laugh. He
Without
said while he
coughing.
lit up. Yeah. He said while he lit up another one.
Smoke another one, Cassidy.
Yeah, I'm going to enjoy it. I finally found the kind of vape pens that I've been looking for. Basically, they're this big, and I can twirl them around in my hands like a cigarette. Because like half the thing is I want something to fidget with.
Oh, you're talking about just a vape stick.
Yeah.
I got one of these ones though.
Yeah, those are too thick. They don't like they're good and solid and good high quality, but they don't feel right in my hand. I want to twiddle something.
Right. Sometimes all it is, most of the time with cigarettes, it's usually just holding something most of the time. In the hand to mouth movement. You know?
That is a bit of it. I found myself fidgeting. The hospital provided the nicotine patches to see if that would help, because I can't just go cold turkey because of my gut, and they found out the nicotine patches do indeed help, but I still needed something to fidget.
Yes. A pencil.
Yeah, something, So these vape pens are nice and thin. They're about that big.
There you go. Yeah.
And I think they're disposable, but it's $15. $15 to quit smoking? Fuck yeah, sign me up.
This one was 20.
Fire truck.
Fire truck, sign me up. And then firemen bust in and grab me, dragging me away. Nope, you're fireman now. I was kidding. Nope, we heard you. Too late. I don't know whether British firemen.
Reginald!
I'm not going to yet.
I disagree. All right, I got to let the fur babies back in. It's hot outside.
All right.
Come on.
So we'll see you next week or whatever.
Sure.
All right. So is the show over, or are we keeping going, or what's going on?
We can end it if you want to, or we can keep going, but my battery is getting low here.
I think Kristin's are too.
Yeah, mine is too.
Yeah.
Well, then carry us out. All
right.
We have like
if everybody's
thank
here
you.
that's going to be here, thank you for tuning in and watching our second half of this show. Much peace and prosperity to you. Thank you, Cassidy, for coming on. Thank you, Kristin, for coming on. And thank you, viewers. Lots of comments. I like that. And stay tuned. We'll have more coming for you. Namaste.
Thank you. Good night.
Night.
Be safe, everybody.